All right, thanks, Rick. Joining us now is W. James Antle III, a political editor for the Washington Examiner and author of the book Devouring Freedom: Can Big Government Ever Be Stopped? Thanks so much for joining us here on Newsmax Now.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you have a new column called Mike Lee's Way Forward for Social Conservatives on Gay Marriage. Let's look at this. Senator Lee, quote, "Like many Americans, I personally do not believe same-sex marriage is a constitutional requirement or a federal prerogative or even good policy for that matter," Lee said. But today, those of us who hold these views cannot deny that our arguments are no longer winning the public debate. Now, I want to ask you, when it comes to elections, has the gay marriage issue become kind of a trap for some Republicans?
I think in a way that it has, and one of the reasons is because public opinion has shifted so quickly on this issue. As recently as when Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were fighting in the Democratic primaries in 2008, supporting gay marriage was considered a net vote loser, so it was something that you wanted to stay away from. But now we're reaching a point where growing majorities are almost across the board, except within the Republican base, are supportive of gay marriage. And it's kind of caught Republican candidates flat-footed because the base is still against it, but a number of the younger voters and a number of other demographic groups are now supportive. And so Republicans are trying to deal with this new political reality.
Yeah, you actually talk about, you bring up some of the statistics in your article. You want to go into those where you talk about the number of Republicans
Sure.
who actually oppose gay marriage versus a number or percentage who actually believe it's inevitable?
There's a very big difference between Republicans' opposition to gay marriage and the support for gay marriage that we see among majorities of Democrats and independents. But where there is no statistically significant partisan difference is over whether gay marriage is inevitable. Over 70% of Republicans, just like over 70% of Democrats and independents, believe that same-sex marriage's legality is inevitable, whether that means the Supreme Court discovers a constitutional right to it, or whether just over time more and more states, through either their courts or through their legislatures, adopt gay marriage, that's just going to become the nationwide political reality.
Yeah, they almost become
Republicans
as
are going to have to find a way
hate-mongers.
to deal with it.
Right, sorry to interrupt you. They almost
I'm
going to
sorry?
be perceived as hate mongers. So how do you balance that?
Right. Well, I think it's a very tough issue because you have a number of people, Christian wedding vendors and other people who are going to be in tax-exempt religious schools and tax-exempt religious institutions that are going to want to continue to adhere to the traditional definition of marriage. And when we've had debates over giving them a safe space, so to speak, protecting their religious liberty, in many cases the opponents of protecting their religious liberty have argued that they're using religious freedom to justify discrimination. So opposition to same-sex marriage is now being characterized as a form of anti-gay discrimination. And discrimination is a big political loser. And so Republicans are going to have to find a new, and that's one of the things Mike Lee was trying to do, I think, in his speech, was to try to attach the fight to religious liberty to some of the principles that the supporters of gay marriage have used to win over the public to their side.
How big of an issue do you think this is going to be for 2016?
I think it's going to be pretty big because the first presidential contest will be in Iowa, where the Republican voters are still pretty socially conservative and are going to want presidential candidates who are defenders of traditional marriage. And the media is going to be very hotly focused on this issue, and Republicans are going to make certain commitments in an attempt to win Iowa, and then the media is going to really question them almost to the exclusion of a lot of other issues about their gay marriage stance in other states that are less socially conservative and where it could be more politically damaging.
We'll have to leave it there, but you're going to stick around for our roundtable. Washington Examiner's Jim Antle staying with us. Roundtable coming up next.